3,300 years ago, God led the Jews out of Egypt and into Canaan, the Holy Land, which God promised the Jews forever and commanded them to live there. Therefore, that land is called Israel. That's what God calls it, and the Jews live in Israel since then. There were times when there were only a few thousand of them in all of Israel, but the Jews are there all the time. That would be enough for any normal person to understand that it is a holy land for the Jews, and for God's holy laws that he gave to Israel through Moses. But since the majority hate God and God's words from the bottom of their souls, then it needs to be explained further. So Israel is in the Holy Land, founded 3,300 years ago. At that time, Israel was the only theocracy known to humanity, in which there is no human king, emperor, or president, but God is the only king, and Israel is governed by judges, according to God's holy laws. After about 250, 300 years, that is, 3,000 years ago, the Jews did evil in God's eyes and sought a Messiah, a human anointed king. The first anointed Messiah king was Saul, after him King David, after David, his son Solomon, and so on. Solomon builds the only temple of God that God said would ever be built. The only temple that God said where, when, and how to build. And that is the God's temple in Jerusalem. All other places of worship were built by people as and where they wanted. About 400 years after Saul, that is, about 2,600, 2,550 years ago, Babylon attacked Israel, destroyed the only temple of God, and took the Jews into captivity for 70 years. Most of them remained in Israel. After 70 years, the Jews returned to Israel and rebuilt the only temple of God and the state of Israel. After about 600 years, to be exact, in the year 136 AD, 1900 years ago, Israel was under Roman occupation. The Jews rebelled against the occupation. The Romans forbade them to keep God's law, after which the Romans attacked Israel, destroyed the rebuilt temple of God, and expelled the Jews from Israel. Again, some of the Jews remain in Israel. The Romans had a habit of crushing such major rebellions with fierce force, so they tried to destroy the history of such rebellious states. They tried the same with Israel, and renamed the land of Israel to Palestine, even though Palestine was never in the Holy Land and has nothing to do with Israel. God, and therefore the Jews and any biblically religious people, do not care what the pagan Romans call Israel. God calls that land Israel, gives it to the Jews as an eternal possession, and the pagan Romans can call it whatever they want. Those damn Romans even renamed Jerusalem to Aelia Capitolina. And as you can see, to this day, no one cares or has ever cared what the Romans call anything. Only God matters. So Jerusalem is Jerusalem, and Israel is Israel. Especially if you are religious and you don't hate God's words. After the year 136 AD, the Holy Land was ruled by the Romans, then the Arabs, the Crusaders, the Ottoman Empire, and then the British from 1918. Jews began to return to the Holy Land in large numbers in the 1800s, and even more after World War II in the 1940s.